today I will be building a massive Mars truck and sending it to Mars in Kerbal Space Program. Now, I tried to do this in Kerbal Space Program too, and oh gosh, it was very difficult. In fact, I don't even want to talk about it. It was just torture trying to get it to work. So, like, as you can see, building the rover here, I started off doing this balcony look here. Like, you know, they had like a balcony out the back where the Kerbals could look out. Then I was like, no, let's make it like a, sort of like a pickup truck. But no, let's make it an actual truck and make it like an enclosed cargo bay. So that's what I was thinking. And I put some chairs down here for the Kerbals to sit, I guess. I put lots of scientific instruments here as well. And yeah, so this was the point where I decided, nah, we're going to build an actual truck, or whatever you call them. I'm not a truckologist or whatever you call them. But anyway, yeah, here we are building the rover. And like I said, I did not do this in KSP 2. Well, I did try to do it, but I didn't successfully do it. Oh my gosh, I just get to like 20,000 meters above the ground and it would just all explode. It was just the rover was wobbling through the fairing no matter how many struts I put on it. I was getting damn 5 FPS. So it's great to be back in Kerbal Space Program 1. It gives me a little break. Now, don't worry guys, I'm not going to stop playing Kerbal Space Program 2. Of course I'm not going to. But I'm just finding it a little bit tricky at the moment. So it's nice to, come to KSP 1, have a bit of a break from all the bugs and glitches. However, I did have some bugs and glitches today. I think there was just one on the launch, which we'll see soon. And I do have to say, for the construction of this video, I'm only going to show you the construction of the rover itself, because otherwise the build time lapse would have been like 6 minutes. And yeah, that's just boring. So anyway, yeah, I'll just show you construction of the rover itself. Here you can just say I'm testing all the systems out and just making sure it all works, and it does. So yeah, we can get back to it. I put some little drills on it, but eventually I decided to go with like ore tanks and then have like huge drills on it. The only thing is I put the drills on the ore tanks and they were very much clipping through the ore tanks. So yeah, it was pretty funny. So like that. So the ore tanks didn't even work. They didn't even store anything because I massively clipped the drills into them. But anyway, now I'm just putting some headlights on the top and just doing the finishing touches. Now like I said, I won't show you the rest of the construction of the rocket. So, right about now, we will skip over to the launch. So here we are on the launch pad, and there we go. A pretty ridiculous rocket, 6 solid rocket boosters surrounding 1 mammoth engine, and here we go. Oh, look at those massively improved frame rates from Kerbal Space Program 2. I'm so happy. But anyway, here we are just going up here, and my visual mods glitched out a bit when I was high up in the atmosphere. Like, that the clouds just didn't show up anymore, and it was like the entire planet started to become a thick ball of blue. And then I tried detaching the solid rocket boosters, and yeah, they kind of all just exploded, and the main core exploded too. So I had to switch to the second stage. I was still hoping I'd have enough Delta V, but I had more than enough Delta V. I had like 4,000 meters per second of Delta V left when I got there. I probably could have set this thing to damn Elus. No, screw it. I could have sent this to Moho. That's how overbuilt this rocket is. But anyway, yeah, so you can see the visual mods are really glitching out here. Like, just can't see the surface at all. It's really weird. But anyway, here we are getting to an orbit, and you might wonder why the parts look a lot different to how they look in the stock game. And that's because I've installed this amazing mod called Restock, which basically changes the textures of parts in Kerbal Space Program to just look a lot better. Now, I didn't use any custom parts for this build. The only custom part I used was that command pod on the top there. Everything else has just been retextured. But anyway, now we're in orbit, and after a little bit of tweaking in the settings, there we go, I fixed the visual mods. So now it is time to plot a course to Duna, which took a while. It took a pretty big bulk of the footage, but my thrust to weight ratio was very poor on this, so I decided to split the burns. So I do 1 burn at periapsis just to get my apoapsis higher, and then keep doing that like 3 times until it was like right at the edge of the sphere of influence of Kerbin. And then I could just do 1 final push to get myself on escape velocity and on a course for Duna. So as you can see, I'm doing that here. It's pretty cool passing the night side, but it was kind of glitchy, as you can see here. It doesn't look good in footage, to say the least. It looked a lot better in the recording. And yeah, I really think those city lights from Astronomer's visual pack look amazing too. Like, those stars in the background are part of Astronomer's visual pack. I feel like they're a bit overboard. I really do. Like, they seem just too much stars, if you know what I mean. But I don't want to get rid of Astronomer's visual pack because it gives me those beautiful city lights. But anyway, here we are. We've got our apoapsis all the way up to the edge of the sphere of influence, so I can just warp around the planet until we get back around and can perform our final escape burn and get off to Duna. So you can see I've reached escape velocity and I'm also on a course to intercept Duna. Now the next step is to make a mid-course correction some way down the track, and I'm just doing that here. I won't show you the complete planning of burns. Anyway, here we are, time warping away from Kerbin. There goes Kerbin. Now, the reason why I put those command pods on top of the rover is because I thought of launching the Kerbals just in the upside down rover, but I was like, nah, that's a bit unrealistic. So to be realistic for the Kerbals, I just put some command pods up there, and I'd be like, okay, that's where they live and work on the journey to Mars or Duna. Duna is basically the analog of Mars in Kerbal Space Program. It's based on Mars. But anyway, here we are at Duna, and we can begin our circularization. Now, this wasn't just a circularization into low orbit, because I wasn't equatorial. And so what I decided to do is abuse the gravity of Duna's moon, Ike, to put me equatorial. So as you can see, I'm just capturing around Duna here, which took quite a lot of fuel. Well, I guess it didn't really, it just was very slow because I don't have much thrust to weight ratio. But anyway, here I am passing Ike for the first time, now making a mid-course correction, doing that burn. And there we go. Now with the help of Ike, I'm now completely equatorial, which is absolutely awesome. Anyway, here we are. Now I had to block getting this trajectory of Ike, so I just kept burning retrograde. And there we go. I'm just getting it like right above the atmosphere. And then I could do a bit of tweaking. And look at that. Here we are. Just above Duna's atmosphere. Circularizing. And there we are. We are now circularized. So now it's time to descend. We've got our brave Kerbals here. And before we get into the atmosphere, though, we do need to transfer the Kerbals, both Kerbals, into the rover, as you can see me doing here. And there we go. We can detach that command pod with no Kerbals in it, and we can begin the descent. Now, as you can see here, I've got a sky crane set up for this, and that's going to help us get down to the surface. Now, notice this in testing as well. This sky crane, if you throttle up too much, like for a long period of time, it will just spin out of control. For some, it's probably a bit off balance. That's probably the reason why. But I didn't care to fix it, so I've just got to be really careful and just burn, like, not for super long periods of time. Otherwise, it just will not stay stable, even with that reaction wheel. As you can see here, that's the problem I was experiencing. The entire thing turned upside down, but the parachutes came to save the day. And now we're just doing the final descent. This is real-time speed now. Whoop. Come on. And there we go. So now, all I had to do was detach the sky crane. So what I did was I put the brakes on the rover because it was kind of rolling down the hill. And as I tried to detach it, I didn't throttle it up enough. And I couldn't control it now. So it kind of didn't have enough thrust to weight ratio since I put up the throttle so little to get off the rover. So it kind of just did this weird backflip And Tem just, yeah. Yeah, wow. It looks pretty intimidating. It looks like a giant pit of fire or something now. It's just lying on the ground there. But it'll eventually run out of fuel and then, yeah, it will just stop burning. But anyway, here is the rover. I've talked through all that. Anyway, here is the rover. So I'm deploying the drills here. There's 2 massive drills on the sides. And I'm also deploying the cargo bay. I'm using the hinge pieces from the Breaking Ground expansion. And yeah, that's about the only custom parts here, apart from the capsule that I used that was part of restock. Anyway, here we are, deploying the drills. Look at them, sinking into the ground, ready to find some minerals and all that. Well, it's kind of useless, to be honest, because for some reason they're not transferring into the ore tank. I wonder if that's because they're like twice as big as the ore tank and like clip through it. But anyway, now I've just got a Kerbal out so she can set up the solar panels and all that stuff. And get in the back, have a bit of a look around, use the scientific instruments and all that. To be honest, guys, it doesn't really matter. This is a sandbox save. I wasn't going to go through all the trouble of unlocking the whole tech tree just to do this mission. I'm sorry, guys. There's only so much I'll do for you. I just did this in a sandbox save. But anyway, here we are, coming into the back. Now, I forgot to add a ladder here because I'm stupid. But hey, thanks to Duna's low gravity, we can just jump in the back. As you can see, we've got some scientific instruments in the back here and some seats. Don't worry that her head is minorly clipping into the ore tanks there, it's very realistic. But anyway, here's all the scientific instruments and all that. Yeah, you can see I can't do them because she's not a scientist and this is a sandbox save as well. Anyway, but there she is, sitting in her seat. Ignore that her head is clipping through the ore tank. But anyway, now we can go on a bit of a cruise. So let's go for a bit of a drive. We can close the doors. Meow. We're off. We're off on our adventure. Now, I have to say, this is my most favorite rover I've ever made on this channel. Even though I've only made one. Yes, I've only made one rover on this channel, and that was actually my Ike rover. That was part of my Ike base. Not many of you watched that, probably because I wasn't as quote unquote popular back then. But anyway, here we are getting out the Kerbals, planting our flag. We've got like a construction-esque flag there, and yeah, now we can get them back in. And now we can keep going for a bit of a drive. Got some nice headlights up there. Can tackle all sorts of terrain. That would be if Kerbal Space Program 1 was more realistic with its friction physics. Because, this thing loved to slide around. One of the things I love about KSP 2 in particular is like the surfaces aren't slippery anymore. But as you can see here, it's just so slippery. That's probably because I'm on a downhill. But even here, like you can see, they're really slippery. I'm going for a nighttime drive here, and look how cool it looks with those headlights at the front. It reminds me of that one scene in The Martian, when they were driving the rover through the mountains and all that. But anyway, thank you for watching. Here's my fancy end screen I made. I know it's very cool. But anyway, guys, if you for some reason want to watch more of my videos, do that, I guess. But I'll see you guys next time.